Now we will take a look at widgets, and essentially what widgets are additional areas outside of our main content area, such as on our poster page, and it allows us to put additional content or functionality in these areas. Now, the most popular areas for widgets are the sidebar, so this recent posts, recent comments, archives. Categories are in fact widgets, and the footer area is another popular area for widgets, and sometimes you can find widgets in our header area, and it really does depend on the theme that you are using, or sometimes a plugin can add additional widget areas. Now, to change this, just go back to our admin area, go to appearance and select widgets, and on the left hand side we will see a list of the available widgets, and on the right hand side you'll see the areas where you can put these widgets. So if you remember, on our main site we had our search function, or recent posts, recent comments, archives, categories, and metadata. Okay, so this particular theme has 1, 2, 3 areas that we can place widgets: the primary sidebar, content sidebar, and the footer widget area. Now, to add a widget to any of these areas, we can simply drag the widget from the available widget section and drop it in the area where we want the widget to go. And once we do that, we will see some additional options depending on the widget to customize that widget, such as we can add a title, and in this case for the calendar that's basically all that we can do. And then we would save it, and we can close that, and to just edit the settings of any of these widgets, just simply select this drop down arrow, and of course you see the option to delete the widget, so you can remove the widget from the area. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to delete this widget. I am going to remove the archives widget, the metadata widget, the categories widget, and I want to add a custom menu widget. And the popular widgets will appear here are your archives, your calendar, your custom menu, pages, and they're pretty self-explanatory, and they have a bit of blurb below them to tell you what it's about. And these are default, they come with pretty much every theme that you have, but some themes will have additional widget options, and depending on some of the plugins that you may have installed, you will see additional widgets or options for your widgets. Okay, and like I said, a description will be displayed below these widgets. And another way that you can add a widget, let me just say that, is to click on the widget, because sometimes dragging and dropping the widget into your widget area, for example, let me cancel this. If you had a long list of widgets and you're at the very bottom here, and you have to drag this widget, and you have to scroll up to the top to find, say, this widget area, then it can be sort of a pain. So if you click on the widget, then you will just see an option as to where you can put the widget. So for example, if I wanted to put a custom menu in the footer widget area, then I just hover over it, select it, and then add widget, and the widget would go inside that area, and then I could just go in, select the menu. In this case I only have one menu, So I just save there. And to change the order of your widgets, you can just simply hover over it until you see this icon appear that looks like a cross, and you can just drag and drop, and that's really how easy it is to change around the order of your widgets. And at the very bottom you'll see an area that says inactive widgets. Now widgets will appear here if you put them there for one. So for example, if you have a particular widget that you have configured and you don't want to use it, you can place it in your inactive widget, but you don't necessarily want to delete it because you may want to use it in the future. So you can put it under inactive widgets. Also, sometimes widgets will appear in the inactive widgets area if, for example, you change your theme and the new theme doesn't have a sidebar or widget area similar to the previous theme, and so WordPress doesn't know exactly where to put the widget based on the old configurations into your new theme, so it may just place those widgets in the inactive widgets. So the last thing is just to save, and then we can go over to our site and we can look at the changes. So if we just refresh our site, and you will see that our metadata has been removed, and we have added our custom menu on the left sidebar as well as in the footer area. Now, of course, this doesn't look as nice as I'd want it to, but it's just something for you to test out and drag and drop and chop and change until you're satisfied with how these widgets are displayed on your site. Okay?